Hi, good day everyone. Before I begin, let me introduce myself and my group members. My name is Ishani Murali, along with Isha Subramaniam, Dineshwari Ravichandran, Gopikamba Subramurthy, and Anisha Maradamuthu. Today we are going to present about Malaysia Chinese culture. My name is Ishani Murali. My metric number is DEN 07200021. There are some definitions of Malaysia Chinese culture. Chinese culture is one of the world's oldest cultures, tracing back to 1,000 years ago. Important components of Chinese culture include ceramics, architecture, music, literature, martial arts, cuisine, visual arts, philosophy, and religion. Chinese culture also includes customs and traditions, music, dances, painting, language, and clothing. The Malaysian Chinese, also known as Chinese Malaysians, are Malaysian citizens of Han Chinese ethnicity. They form the second largest ethnic group after the Malay majority, constituting 23% of Malaysian population. Most of them are descendants of Southern Chinese immigrants who arrived in Malaysia between the early 19th century and mid-20th century. Malaysian Chinese form the second largest community of overseas Chinese in the world, after Thai Chinese. Malaysian Chinese are traditionally dominant in the eastern sector of the Malaysian economy. The ethnic subgroups of the Chinese people in Malaysia includes the Hokkien, Cantonese, Hakka, Teochew, Hainan, Teochew, and Kwangsai. The Chinese in the region are predominantly Buddhist, but more often than not cross over into Confucianism and Taoism. Buddhism takes care of afterlife. Confucianism looks after the political and moral aspects of life, and Taoism teaches people to maintain harmony with the universe. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Isha Subramaniam. My metric number is DEM 0826007. Chinese Common Culture Application. The cultural values of country influence is national psychology and identity. Citizen values and public opinions are conveyed to state leaders through the media and other information channels, both directly and indirectly, influencing decisions on the foreign policy. The traditional cultural values that influence values harmony, benevolence, right, essence, consistency, wisdom, honesty, loyalty, and filial piety are embodied in China's diplomacy through the concept of harmony, the most important Chinese traditional value. Thank you.
I'm Gopikamba from batch 22A. I would like to share about Malaysian Chinese culture absolutely and relative same. The majority of the members of this minority ethnic group are descendants of immigration who arrived in Malaya in late 19th and early 20th century to serve British economic interests. In the current Malaysia conjuncture, where state endorsed discourses and still circulating colony typologies of ethnicity have been changed by the national desire and identification of minor ethnic groups. It is the concept of culture rather than legal citizenship should be critical relevance. It is this culture disposed of the ethnic in the national that characterize the hegemonic politic and mutualism in Malaysia. By critically analyze the concept underpinning of such discourses, it is hoped that the premise for many policy will be removed and thus gradually changed. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good evening, my lecturers and my friends. My name is Anisha Maradamuthu. I'm from batch 22A. My ID number is DEN 03267. My topic is common issue of Chinese culture in Malaysia. Chinese culture have two problems, that is social problems and gender issues. Social problems, I would like to tell you some points of things. First point is due of the existence of the Intersecurity Act in Malaysia. The country has received plenty of criticism from human rights activities in the West. The second point is the Act of provides from definition without trial for individuals deemed detrimental for the harmony of the activism. Many prominent Chinese leaders has been denied under the act since its enactment in 1950s. Even thought Islam is and Malay is their traditional and culture virtually secured by the constitution. Next is gender issue. Traditionally, female members of the family are expected to know how to cook, clean the house, and how to take care the elder relatives. However, nowadays gender roles in domestic realms have changed as a result of women labor force participation. There is a more related attitudes in gender issues which can be caused by the different roles husband and wife play their duties to the another persons. This is from me. Thank you.
Gender roles in Chinese culture. The traditional Confucian culture in China is strict doctrinized, linking unequal gender stratification and distribution of power resources by its core three obedience and call, particularly for women, namely women subordinate to men in every stage of life, daughters to their fathers and wives to their husbands. Next, business practices. Chinese business culture is largely influenced by Confucianism. Thus, primarily Confucian concept of Hongzi implies that its relationship network is crucial and based on the values of solidarity, loyalty, modesty, and courtesy. Designing too quickly will be frowned upon by Chinese partners. Next, women's roles in Chinese culture. Women's roles were primarily kinship roles: daughter, sister, wife, daughter-in-law, mother, and mother-in-law. In all these roles, it was uncovered of women through thought, wishes, and needs to closely related men, their fathers when young, their husbands when married, their sons when widowed. That's all. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Tanisha Chandran. Today I am going to present about men's role in Chinese culture. In China, from very earlier times, men have been seen as the core of the family. The ancestors to whom a Shang and Zhao dynasty king made sacrifices were his patrilineal ancestors, that is, his ancestors linked exclusively to men, his father's father, and so on. Culture differences. Malaysia is a multicultural society. The main ethnic groups are the native Malays as well as large populations of Chinese and Indians. When visiting the country, it is clear that the ancestors retain their religions, customs, and way of life. The most important festivals of each group are public holidays. Unique about Chinese culture: customs and traditions, music, dances, painting, language, cuisine, clothing, and applied art. The Chinese written language, one of the words and sign language, is unique in its own way, since even now the Chinese write the L of the same alphabet that was used 5,000 years ago. Chinese culture is one of the world's oldest culture, tracing back to thousands of years ago. Important components of Chinese culture include ceramics, architecture, music, literature, martial arts, cuisine, visual arts, philosophy, and religion. Indian. The term culture generally refers to deceased with Hindu family background who have long observed of religious practices and whose identifications with the Hindu religious tradition is primary culture or communal. The term has come into vogue as a result of secularizations. Hindus believe in the doctrines of samsara, the continuous cycle of life, death, and reincarnation, and karma, the universal law of cause and effect. One of the key thoughts of Hinduism is Atman, or the belief in soul. This philosophy holds that living creatures have a soul and they are all part of the Supreme Soul. Malay culture has been strongly influenced by the cultures of other areas including Thailand, Java, and Sumatra. The Malays were largely Hindus before before they were converted to Islam in the 15th century. Many Malays are rural people living in villages rather than towns. Conclusion: Chinese nation created a splendid ancient civilization which by virtue of its values of ideological, culture, institutional and social operational mode crafting technologies, improvement and economic life shows that human culture treasures of unite value. Needless to say, this culture also has serious loss with the decay of small-scale production and agriculture, civilizations, and the invasion of Western industrial civilizations. Chinese culture marched toward a new turning point in history. China needs face up to modern nations and the era of globalization and creatively builds a new culture to reconstruct Chinese nation's culture homeland. Thank you.